guys think about when your parents like just basically disowned you guys? Like, because I
That
know
was
for a fact
her.
I would be hurt. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was in the
So
house when I was only 18 when I got to fellowship first time, and I was still living at home. And they wouldn't like when they made dinner. I was telling them earlier today, even I had to go in my room and eat. They wouldn't, they would. I'd go out to the kitchen to get something, and they would ignore me. So I told them that's when I got married. Right after that,
Well, yeah.
to someone that I couldn't even stand really. But he
Don't
was the
even
only
know.
one that had like a job because he wasn't a witness and could get an apartment. So I just took off. I just took off.
I
But
don't I don't
a
understand why
nightmare.
we just didn't like I
But I
guess we
couldn't
were
stay in that
so
situation.
immature. We didn't think like we could have
Let's get an
gotten
apartment
together,
together.
gotten an
yeah.
apartment. Like we could have got a effing
Yeah, but
studio.
it's like we didn't know anything about how the real world
We
worked
didn't
or
know
do
anything.
this or that, or it didn't even cross our minds,
Mm-mm.
which is so weird because it's not like we
It
had
didn't even cross
didn't have
our
jobs. We
mind.
both worked.
Because you guys didn't see what the real world was when you
Yeah,
guys
we
were
had no idea like
in
about
that JW
we were I get
situation.
naive in that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah.
I was watching a program and this guy was saying like, remember the why don't if they think there's going to be a end of the world, why wouldn't they send the the kids or the parents to plumbing and stuff like that if the world was going to end? You know what I mean?
Well, he was saying that because they think the world's going to end with Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Like basically, I was told I wouldn't probably make it to the age of 18 even,
Oh yeah.
that it was going to come. So they encourage you to only do those jobs, the plumbing, the contracting, because they want you to be able to have those type of trades. So when Armageddon comes and it destroys everything, we can rebuild houses. So if like I wanted to be, I didn't really think about anything that I wanted to be
No.
because that wasn't a thought. It was just you dedicate your life to the organization and Jehovah, and that's it. Like I never really thought, oh, I want to be this when I grow up. Or if I did, it didn't last long, because you shouldn't focus on those type of things. No,
Yeah.
college is looked down upon. The parents that put their kids in college, they're looked down upon in the Kingdom Hall, like they must not be too spiritually strong because they're sending their kid to college. Because Armageddon's coming, and it's we're in the last days, and that's another thing. The fear that they put into you is like enormous. You cannot imagine the fear of like you're just going to die if you're not 100% doing what you should be doing. You're going to die, and that's probably going to be tomorrow. That's what they put into you, and so you are just fearful all the time, like the world's ending. You're not 100% because in the back of your mind you don't believe every single thing, right? But you can't question it,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
it's like you just have to say this is the truth and this is what I believe. But if you don't fully believe, you don't, so you're going to die at Armageddon.
Yeah.
But you're just like stuck. You're totally stuck in that place of fear.
They
Yeah.
brainwashed you guys.
Well, and
And I never would have thought that
but they
ever in my life before. But
it's sad because like I went and looked at my GPA when I did because I went back to school for my senior year.
mhm,
And then I looked at my GPA. I was like, holy shit, I got really good grades. Like
mhm,
back then in the early 90s, like or mid 90s, I could have gone to like a really good school.
yeah,
Had and I blame it on our education system too, because we were in Richmond Unified School District. Um,
I blame it on them.
but nobody, not even a school counselor, talked to me about it. Obviously, my parents didn't talk to me about it because they were told by the organization, yeah, the end is coming. You don't work for the world, for material possessions. You should
uh-huh.
you should strive to be in Jehovah's organization. You work for Jehovah. You want to be a pioneer. That's what you want to do when you get out of school. You're a pioneer. You want to, yeah, you want to have these crafts that you can, of course, that's, being a plumber, that is great.
Building
It
stuff,
can be
making
very
stuff.
lucrative, but like, you're told like only trade school. Well, yeah, only trade school is really good for some people. Like my husband, he went to trade school. That's what's the perfect type of job for
Yeah,
him.
because that's what he wanted to do,
Because
right?
he wanted to do that, but like my son, he's like a super like bookworm, and he was like, no, I want to go straight to a university. So that's what he did. So everything for different, but you shouldn't only be told like, yeah, you have to go into a trade, but I honestly think they do it because they need free labor.
Yeah, that's what I
For
was going to say.
fields, for assembly halls, for their new Bethel project that they're going to do somewhere or another.
Yeah.
And
the more money
what
you
it is,
guys make, the more they take.
Yeah. And we don't make any money doing it. It's
they
all
want to, I think
volunteer.
they want to keep you poor like slaves.
Mhm.
That's why when people go to Bethel, they sign like that poverty thing,
Yeah.
you know.
So growing up, did you know any Jehovah's Witnesses in your classrooms?
Just Jesse and Jeffrey. But they
Okay.
didn't go to school. They were homeschooled.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, they were homeschooled.
Most, I think, are. Well, most were when we were growing up.
Yeah, when we
I don't know
were,
about now.
when we
But
were,
like our homeschool, yeah, I got to pick my grades. My teacher would say, and I'm horrible at math, and he'd be like, "What do you think you?" And I would, "What do you think? What grade do you think you deserve in this?" I was A, B, whatever. It was a joke. It was a complete joke. That's why I enrolled myself in the adult school in Martinez later on when I was like 17, because I was like, I've not learned anything in 3 years.
It's horrible.
it,
It's horrible.
it was a complete joke. Everyone know what disfellowshipping is, how you basically get shunned.
So shun is different than.
it's the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They just use different words,
Other places use like discommunication, I think, or excommunicated.
Excommunicated, yeah, shunned, disfellowshipped, but it's pretty much all the same thing. They want nothing to do with you anymore.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So you do try to get reinstated usually. Usually people do the first time, sometimes after the second time. But you have to go through an elders meeting and write letters and stuff to the branch, I guess. Or not the branch,
Yeah,
but the
to this day, I still haven't met her mom and dad.
Well, that's the thing. So I've never had the horrible experience that Krista's had. My family, nobody is baptized except for some distant family that I don't see. But Krista's dealt with like her parents are just, they're beyond, because now the new light is that you can talk to people, and you could say like, oh, it'd be nice to see you back at the Kingdom Hall, whereas before you weren't even allowed to say anything to them.
But that's probably pretry much it.
But
it's hard for them to probably even change that,
Yeah, it's hard to change people that are totally brainwashed and indoctrinated and so stubborn.
He's seen my parents once.
I seen him at Isaiah's
when Isaiah was
graduation.
18, and
that was it. But they never.
When was that?
So that was 6 years ago. He saw him at Isaiah's graduation, just saw them, but we didn't. They didn't talk, because I was disfellowshipped. So
7 years ago.
Yeah, I physically saw them last time was 7 years ago.
Wow.
No, that's 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
I was gonna say maybe even longer, right?
Yeah, but before that had been a few years, probably a few years too.
Yeah, it was before that, so it's probably 9.
It's been a long time.
I mean, I met her brother at a Thanksgiving get together at Travis. Was that what it was? Travis?
No, it was my aunt, who's not a witness.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. None of my family, just my immediate family was Jehovah's Witnesses. None of my other family, because they were all, that's
our extended family.
Even though we all lived right near each other, we weren't allowed to have any association with them either, because they were considered worldly, and that's another thing. So when you don't have your family who aren't witnesses growing up. So I didn't know any of them. Even my grandmother, I really didn't know because they weren't witnesses. So it was very limited. We couldn't go to any of their functions, and all their functions always were just birthday. Usually they'd have birthday. They stopped inviting us. I remember they did in the beginning, I think, but my parents were like, no. So when you're disfellowshipped, you don't have anybody. And that's why you do try to get reinstated, I think, in the beginning, because you don't have your family or your witness family.
Yeah, and like even for me, my family, I was closer to my non-witness family than you were. Because
Hmm.
my parents
Yeah,
were
like with your grandmother and stuff.
But but um but like my dad's side of the family, I never had that really close connection, except for with a couple of people.
Yeah.
But
And
they weren't witnesses, or they
oh
were
no,
witnesses.
no. And my mom's side of the family was not witnesses either. So just my mom and dad studied, my grandma and grandpa studied, and um my aunt studied.
Hmm.
They started studying when I was about 5. And both sets of my parents and my grandparents and my aunt. And then I would go to the Kingdom Hall with my aunt or my grandparents. When I was little, and then when I was about 8, my aunt started dating a worldly guy. And so she stopped meetings.
Hmm.
So
And
did, so did you guys with your parents, you guys didn't celebrate holidays either?
we stopped celebrating holidays when I was 5. So I don't remember celebrating any holidays. My family always did celebrate Thanksgiving. That was one thing but they stopped celebrating Christmas and they stopped celebrating birthdays. And that was pretty much like a lot of my family on my mom's side did, um, because my grandparents stopped. So
But that's another weird thing, the Thanksgiving thing.
yeah,
So
that's what's weird about.
even the witnesses, okay, like we would go every year on Thanksgiving to the witness's house, Mike G, the one older guy, I told you
Mhm.
that we were friends with his
Yeah,
kids and stuff. And we would have a turkey, we'd have mashed potatoes, stuffing,
all
everything,
the fixings.
all the fixings, right? But because
Foot,
Jehovah doesn't,
football in the
there's
football in the street.
yeah, because Jehovah, it's not the turkey, like it's still food.
Celebration.
You could still eat it. So it's not technically celebrating Thanksgiving because Jehovah has nothing to do with the turkey itself or something. And even when we were little, right, we were like,
But it's a
okay,
national holiday though. Thanksgiving is a national holiday, a celebration of
yeah, but it
uh,
was pagan. Every holiday they say has a pagan origin. So why are we going and having a turkey and all that,
yeah.
but still not supposed to celebrate Thanksgiving? A lot of things just never made sense.
Mm.
But you couldn't question that because, you know,
Oh, you weren't allowed to question. Like you couldn't question anything. That's the
Yeah.
thing. You're not allowed to question.
So the first time that Krista, when we were together, our first holiday together, her first Christmas together for both of us, she did not know how to put up a tree.
never
She
put
didn't
up
know
a
how
tree
to
before.
put
And I'm sure
lights on a Christmas tree. I came home one day and there were stockings already stuffed on the wall,
like
and I
hanging.
was like, what are you? Why is those things stuffed? Why is the stocking stuffed already? She goes, well, that's how you're. I said, no, that's not how you're supposed to do it. You gotta put the Santa Claus brings that. He's the one that stuffs everything in the stockings, but they're already stuffed, put up on the wall. And I was like, and that's when I knew that she didn't know anything about holiday. No, that's basically what it was. That's
Like,
the
okay,
truth.
she really never celebrated this
And
before.
then and I was thinking, wow, that's crazy because
It,
I've never met anybody who did not know how to celebrate holidays and what to do on those holidays, because it was all new to me.
I
So
can say when you celebrate your first holiday, it feels weird. It feels wrong.
Hmm.
Even I
It did. I had to
it,
force myself to
it takes a
even
couple
do
to
it.
feel comfortable.
because I had already been pretty much out for few years before I met you, but I still wouldn't bring myself to do a holiday, until then I was with him. I was like, I want, you know what? I want to put up a tree. I want to.
Yeah. Because I wasn't going to force her to do something like that. Whatever she wanted to do, uh, whatever made her, when she was ready, she would want to do it. When she was ready, she was ready. So I didn't want to push her to do something like that. But yeah, it turned out to be a really good Christmas, but it's just stuff like that she didn't know how to cook a turkey. She didn't know how to do a lot of stuff. So we had to teach her. But now
I'm obsessed. Now I probably have too many Christmas decorations.
We got every single nutcracker you can think about.
Oh yeah, there, it's like Christmas threw up in our house.
I
and every holiday pretty much.
That's what I tried to explain to John. I was like, I didn't have any of this stuff growing up, and I really wasn't able to fully celebrate it until I married him, because I had my own house then finally. And it's just weird because I am like, he's like, you are so overboard with the holidays.
Well, even lights.
So overboard with decorating, and you're so overboard politically, and you're so I'm like, I'm overboard because I have all this built.
Never had it before,
and I never had it, and it's just like,
and even I remember on our way to the Kingdom Hall one time, it was at night, so it must have been a Thursday night, the school or whatever, theocratic ministry school. I remember going around the court, right, and everyone's house had Christmas lights on it. And even now, I want everything that I buy is kind of old school. I like the old lights, the old, the vintage kind of
stuff.
And I just
buy the new LEDs, the vintage look LEDs now.
Yeah. I know they have everything now. I love it, but it's because those are the lights I remember seeing. I think at that age that I wanted, and I remember my parents saying, oh, don't, you can say the lights are pretty because, they are pretty. But other than that, that's it. We don't talk about it. And they go on to this huge spill of why we don't. And even the cross necklace, I have tons of cross necklaces because we weren't allowed to wear that. I always wanted a cross necklace, just even little things like that.
Yeah. So they never put up lights at all in their house or nothing? Wow, that's crazy.
Nothing.
There's no remnant of any holiday. I mean,
so during Christmas, you can drive down the street and know who's JW because obviously they didn't have the lights up.
Well, some regular people, normal people didn't either, but they were I wanted
Halloween, lights out.
Oh yeah, lights out, be quiet.
Berkeley Ice Rink.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did. Sometimes they would take us to the movies, but we all knew it's Halloween and it was kind of sad to us, I think, but they, we were still, okay, well, we're going to hang out and do something else. But
we, like you said, we'd go to the movies, or when we became teenagers, 14, 15, 16, we went to Berkeley Ice Rink, go ice skating. That was a big.
And during school, if someone had a birthday or their parents would bring in a cake for them or something, we couldn't have a piece. We'd be out in the hallway eating graham crackers. The teacher, I think she would give us something from her lunch or something that she had. She felt bad.
The little donation.
And we'd be out in the hall eating a graham cracker when, something crazy. We couldn't even be in the room.
Okay.
Cake.
Think about that. 6th grade. They did the Christmas. Grade. They did the Christmas 6th grade, whatever it was, show. And what did we
couldn't be a part of it, but our teacher made us, and we would gladly be a part of it, but our parents know, but so we always had to know.
I don't even think it was Christmas. I think it was holiday.
Yeah, something.
We weren't allowed to sing Jingle Bells. I was like, Jingle Bells is like a winter song. There's nothing about a Christmas tree. There's nothing.
So we could sing Jingle Bells, but that's it.
So you guys couldn't exchange gifts either.
Oh no, if someone. No, we'd come back. Sometimes they'd leave us home from school if it was Valentine's Day, and we'd come back, and there were some kids got put little Valentines in our things, But no, we couldn't be a part of it.
Make you feel extra special.
Yeah, we had to do a play. Her and I. They said, well, since you can't participate in the school, I don't know what it was, but you and so Gloria and I had to But we loved it, actually. We loved that one because we got to hang out during school. This is at Shannon
So
Elementary.
much.
And yeah, and we would like, we took a book and we did a play. We had to create our own play, and it was just her and I. And we had all the classrooms came and watched us put on our own play. It was The Monkey and the Shark. I'll never forget it. And she was the monkey, I was the shark. So we made our own background. But we loved that one because we got to hang out, her and I, in the auditorium alone. And we just like messed around, like
We painted our waves and cut them
taking extra
out.
long so we wouldn't have to go back to class, right?
Painted a
Oh,
palm tree and hung it from
The ocean. Which we had all the lines memorized from the whole entire book.
Good thing the shark song wasn't in back then.
It was really fun. I loved The Monkey and the Shark. I would love to find that same exact book. I need to go
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
and find vintage stores with
Yeah,
plays for
I
two.
bet Amazon has it for sale, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Somebody does, right?
exactly. Oh,
But that was great. But then when we got older, we were in chorus classes, was in Pinole Junior. And remember how mean that teacher was? We ended up both transferring out. She
mhm.
made us feel like complete crap. And Gloria was never at school. So back then she was always sick with something, right?
I'm still always sick with
So
it.
I would be alone, like, oh, I'm gonna be so mad at her when she comes to school tomorrow. I'm
Well, so they had this little like, I mean,
bathroom
during
in
the
the chorus.
fall, they started practicing the Christmas song.
Yeah, so we couldn't
So
do any
we
of it.
couldn't sing anything, and the teacher hated us.
Yeah, she'd be like, you go in the back room and organize all my shelves,
All my
whatever, all
papers
my books.
that we were organizing.
But then we made that fun too, with her and I just being in the back in this room that was this big. It was probably smaller than a cell. It was long and like narrow, right? We could barely move around, but we'd be doing that the whole hour, be laughing back there. We could be hearing them sing, but we'd be back there just like, and that's probably another reason we probably just, she knows we did nothing, I'm sure. But it's like, we wanted to sing, but we couldn't.
So you guys as parents, did they told like the school that you guys are JW and they can't participate in any
Yeah.
kind of
They would, and we would too. We
We
would,
would say the same, do the same thing with
because we were instructed, we had to. We'd had to bring a book in elementary, go up to our teacher and have her read it and say, we're Jehovah's Witnesses. And I hated doing that. I hated it so much because it made us different. From day one, we were separated. And it
Wow,
was like,
that's nuts. That's
yeah,
nuts.
we couldn't
but
salute the
also-
flag. So we stood there with our arms down.
But we all,
You
yeah,
couldn't
during
salute
the
the flag?
pledge.
No, which all the kids would look at
Like,
us.
Pledge allegiance, like,
Oh, no.
wow.
No.
So why don't they do?
Day.
Yeah, why don't they do that though?
Because that's a saluting, that's praising kind of like, I guess, the government. And we give praise to Jehovah.
You only give your allegiance to Jehovah God.
Yeah, and
So
nothing else.
you don't, it's like almost like idolatry, right?
Yeah, so they said you could stand up and because you respect what they believe, but you put your hands down and not salute it. So then all the kids too instantly knew we were JWs, and that would like,
But that's why every morning when we leave, my kids, before we get in the car, we do the pledge. I mean, and when we homeschooled, every morning we'd go out, even if it's raining, we'd go on the front porch, do the pledge. I'm so like,
So do they not do that at their school now, or they still don't? Do they do that in any schools? I don't know, because
I don't know. I mean, I'm in California.
Yeah.
And what?
The Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh,
they took it out then for all
They
schools.
did?
I don't know. Then
Oh.
and ones in California they did. So she's in California, we're in Arizona. So
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
they do it here. I think
I have no
think
idea.
They pledge the flag here
you think so? I don't know. I'm gonna have to find out. I have no idea because like,
because
our kids are not in
California is
school
more of
anymore.
a communist state, so they took
More
the-
of.
yeah, so they took
Wow.
that away. I mean, look at all the statues they took down in California. Look at they changed the name of Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
California's changed their name of so many schools. It's
Mhm.
kind of like, why are you wasting your taxpayer money?
Yeah.
Mhm. That's gonna be some more videos we'll have to put out too.
Hmm.
But that's even like I said, look, this is my front yard, see, super decorated for the holiday.
Yeah,
Flag flying, right?
that's cool.
Like,
I like that.
I can't, like, I'm overboard.
I love it.